Reaction now from Steve Loomis. He is the president of the Cleveland Police Patrolmen's Association. Sir, Hilary Clinton says we must have respect for and respect by the law. Governor Walker says you say that and that's inflammatory. Where do you place the blame for these riots?
Well, I think it clearly shows that there's a disconnect between the politicians and the leadership of this country, including Mrs. Clinton, with the general public. The vast majority of the citizens out there in every neighborhood of this country are law-abiding, God-fearing citizens, and they respect the police, and they do want us out there doing the job. You know, it's just a very, very small portion of a very large country that's screaming the loudest right now, and I think it's irresponsible for her to make those types of statements.
Well, what do you want from the authorities? What kind of clean-cut statement do you want to hear?
Well, there has to be they have to denounce this violence and this false narrative and this rhetoric. They have to stop contributing to it. The president was very, very quick to rush to judgment on the police officers in Baton Rouge and in Minnesota, and yet he's absolutely silent on this riotous situation in Milwaukee. It's absolutely atrocious. I've never seen anything like it before, and there's just no excuse for it. We need leadership right now.
Could you say that the rioters, to some degree, got what they wanted? The police withdrew, law was not enforced, that's the way it ended?
Yeah, well, the Department of Justice has a little bit to do with this, too. They go into every single city that has some type of situation. They'll be in Milwaukee here very shortly. Trust me, this is the MO of the Department of Justice, and they'll prepare a 58-page report, boilerplate report, and they'll replace Milwaukee Police Department with Cleveland Police Department, or vice versa. It's a false narrative. It's definitely a national movement to nationalize the police. And it's not working. Look at the crime rates in every corner of this country. They're going through the roof astronomically.
Well, how did we come to this? That was a flat-out riot. It was an anti-police, to some degree an anti-white riot. How on earth did we get to this situation? Because America, people overseas looking at this, America is embarrassed by this. And that black community in Milwaukee has been ruined by it. How on earth did we get to this level?
Politicians. When President Bill Clinton was in office, the city of Cleveland, for example, there was a lot of federal programs, federal funded programs, the wrap houses, the bike units, we had a 100-person community police unit in the city of Cleveland. Now the federal money went away, the federal money goes away, and now the police departments are all downsized. And in Cleveland, we're going from run to run to run to run to run, and I know in many other cities in the country as well. So they need to step up and assist local governments in maintaining the police forces, the size of the police force. And we showed very clearly during the RNC that when you have the proper number of police officers to do the job gets done, and it gets done very safely and very efficiently. When you're working with scouting crews, which we are across this country, bad things happen, and it's not the fault of the police officers in the street, it's the fault of the politicians. The city of Cleveland, they've reduced, the mayors and the city council in the city of Cleveland, last 17 years in a row, have reduced the budget of the police department and the size of the police department. Now they're all throwing their hands in the air like a bunch of gutless politicians saying, hey, what the heck's going on? Why are things so bad? Well, that's why. You have to have the numbers on the street. So,
Steve Loomis, we thank you very much for joining us today. Much appreciated, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
Sir, move on to the market.